Stay tuned for our viewer request copper and coin beaded cuff bracelet. Hey guys, I'm Katie, and today we're doing a viewer request video. I'm so excited to show you this copper wire and coin beaded cuff bracelet. I love wearing it. It's really comfortable and it kind of adjusts to any size wrist. Here you can see some of the different beads I've used in this design. So today I'm going to be using these lapis coin beads, but I think it works best with any coin bead. I'm so excited to make it for you today. The inspiration for this project really came from the beads. We had these lapis coin beads and I just loved the shape and I wanted to make a really comfortable bracelet to wear. I love to do cuffs because they don't squeeze my arm and I just think they're comfortable. So I think you're gonna really like it mixed with the copper wire that's super easy to wrap. Let's get started. Let's go over the tools and supplies for this project. We're gonna need some coin beads, and they need to fit on 16 gauge copper wire, and we're going to be using 16 gauge bare copper wire and 22 gauge bare copper wire. As far as tools go, we don't need that many. We need a flush cutter, a wire straightening plier, and a flat nose and a chain nose plier. Also good to have a ruler on hand and an oval bracelet mandrel if you want to use that to bend your project around at the very end. So grab your 16 gauge copper wire and cut a foot. That's all you're gonna need for this bracelet. And this is gonna make the main base of your bracelet. And then you're gonna get your coin beads and you're gonna need enough that they measure about 6 inches to 6.5 inches. So it doesn't really matter what coins you use, just measure them out. And then we're going to make a little coil on one end of our wire. If you want, you can straighten that out a little bit. And I like to make a sharp bend 3/4 of an inch in. So just measure that out and bend. And then we're gonna make a little coil. I like to use my bent chain nose plier for this. And just grab the very end of it, roll it back. Squeeze it down a little bit. And then using the flat side of your pliers, just kind of walk it in. You're really just moving the plier, not your hand. Just use your tool for that. Okay, now we've got our little coil and we can string our beads on. If you have any trouble getting your beads on, remember you can always ream them out a little bit or try cutting the end of your wire off a little bit just in case it's gotten a little bit dull. And you can also use your tool to hold it while you pull them on. Okay, now I've got all my beads strung onto my 16 gauge wire. And once again, that's just about a little over 6 inches of beads. So that's just up to you how big or small you want your cuff to be. Now we're gonna make a coil on the other side of the wire, but leave a little bit of space after the beads where you're gonna make your bend. So just I'm gonna leave about a 1/4 inch of wire exposed, and then make another sharp bend. And once again, we're gonna cut that about 3/4 of an inch. So let's start our coil again with our bent chain nose plier and just roll it back towards the bend a little bit. Whoops. Squeeze it down and then just walk it in with the flat side of your plier. Just like that. And then now we're going to get our 22 gauge wire. And I always like to have a little bit more than I need. So I'm gonna cut 2 4-foot pieces of this wire. You may find that you can use a little bit less, but I'm just gonna start with that. So I've got them both in my hands and the 2 ends are right here. I'm gonna start by anchoring them on one side of the bracelet. So just leave a little tail and wrap them both together right there underneath the spiral. And I like to leave this these ends for now. We'll get back to that later. And now we're gonna wrap across the bracelet. Go ahead and get your nylon jaw plier handy. I find that just kind of straightening these little wires as I go can help keep them nice and together. And we're just gonna wrap across one bead and around, push the next bead up, across, around. And as you go, just kind of push the beads together. If you wish, you can wrap multiple times in between each bead, but I find that just one quick around is fine. And also don't let them get twisted up. It's gonna be nice and flat. I'm gonna go all the way down to the end. And then once you get to that coil, wrap it a couple times until you reach the other side. And we're gonna do the same thing going back this direction. I'm gonna untwist these a little bit. And give them a little bit of the straightening. And just the same pattern. It's actually gonna be a little bit different, but it's the same thing. However your wire ends up, just keep doing that pattern like that. So it kind of reverses on your second side. Untwisting. And now you can go and cut off the tails that you left in the beginning with the flat side of your flush cutter. Go ahead and push those down. And then I'm just gonna unwrap these one last little time, bring that up and coil it until it's secure. If you want to, you can even unroll your coil just a little bit and wrap these really securely inside of it, but I'm just gonna end it there where I feel good about it and tuck it in. That is one really nice thing about copper, is that when you're wire wrapping, it just kind of melts into itself. It's so flexible. Okay, so the last thing is to make sure that your end pieces are facing the right way. So just kind of bend them where they need to go. And then all we have to do is shape it into a cuff. And I will use my hands often, but if you want to be like really professional about it, you can grab your oval mandrel and starting at the front, hold it flat, and then just bend it from side to side. So now you have a really cute coin cuff. And you can just put it on like this, and then you just kind of squeeze it down to wherever you want it to fit on your wrist, and it holds its shape. That's it. All right, so let's go back over the tools and supplies we used for this project. We had our coin beads that fit on 16 gauge wire. We had our 16 gauge bare copper wire and our 22 gauge bare copper wire. Our flush cutter, our chain nose or bent chain nose pliers, our wire straightening plier, and our flat nose plier. We also had a ruler and our oval bracelet mandrel. For more jewelry making tips, supplies, and inspiration, go to jewelschool.com. If you need any of the tools or supplies we used for this project, check out the links in the description below. And while you're there, let us know if you have any other viewer requests for demos or projects that you want to see in the future. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. See you next time.